Hello and welcome to Verbling. Hi there. I am Teacher Oakley, and for the next hour here on Verbling, we are going to practice giving advice in English. How to give advice, I will be giving some tips and suggestions on sentence structure to start the class. And then the students will have a chance to give me some advice. Oh my gosh, I have so many problems. I will be giving you, I will be requesting advice from you, and then students will take turns trying to give me advice using the different sentence structures which I will be presenting to you. As the class moves on, hopefully, if we have a few bold students join us, we can ask each other for advice if we would like some advice about particular things. So if you want advice, if you'd like some advice, you can also practice requesting advice. Okay, again, the idea is I'm going to start out, I'm going to show you a few things. Now, first of all, the quintessential, the most important word that you should be familiar with when it comes to suggestions and advice is the word should, the modal verb should. The modal verb should, if you should do something or shouldn't negatively, is the word we most often commonly use for giving suggestions or giving advice. You should move to Miami. You shouldn't pick your nose. Okay, that's advice. Valuable suggestion there. Okay, that's the simplest way. There are other ways. Using should is quite direct, actually. Quite direct. It's informal. There are other ways to make suggestions or give advice. I'd like to share a couple of those with you now and look at the sentence structures, how you would do that. Okay. All right, I'm going to do a little screen share here. Please, anyone out there, please join the class. All levels are welcome to join me. This is fairly simple and straightforward, and we might have a little fun giving advice. Okay. All right. So making suggestions, besides using the classic modal should, you should look through the personal ads. Okay, fine. We can make suggestions with several different structures. We can use gerunds. Okay, for example, what about looking through the personal ads? What about looking through the personal ads? All right, this is making a suggestion that someone might want to look for a job in the personal ads or something. Have you thought about joining a gym? Have you thought about joining a yoga class? This is another way. By forming a question using a gerund, this is actually a way of giving advice or making a suggestion. We can also make a suggestion or give advice by using an infinitive clause, a to and the verb clause. A gerund, okay, is these ing verbs, these ing Well, verbs are these are gerunds. We can also use infinitives with to and the verb. It might be a good idea to check out those discussion groups at the bookstore. Okay. Notice this structure. It might be a good idea. Classic way to very politely make a suggestion or give advice. It's almost a indirect way. It might be a good idea. Just like we use direct questions and indirect questions. What time is it is a direct question. Could you tell me what time it is an indirect question and is considered in English to be much more polite. In the same way, it's very direct to say you should check out those discussion groups at the bookstore. It is a little bit more polite and definitely more indirect to say it might be a good idea to check out those discussion groups at the bookstore. One thing you could do is to stop picking your nose, for example. All right, that's a polite way to say you should stop picking your nose. It's disgusting. That's very direct, of course. Using this construction, one thing you could do, it's a suggestion. We, of course, could. The modal could means one possibility. So it's not as strong advice. It's really not as strong because it's not as direct, and the modal could means the real meaning is that it's one possibility out of many. Hey, here's a possibility. Whereas when we use should, it's much stronger. We're saying that this is what you need to do. Well, not need. It's not as strong as need. Of course, you can give advice very strongly by using must or need to or have to. Very strong modals. You have to stop picking your nose. You really must stop picking your nose. You need to stop picking your nose. It's going to make me sick. Those are very strong suggestions or pieces of advice. By the way, a note about the word advice. Advice is uncountable. You cannot give advices, plural. That's impossible. You can give someone a piece of advice. You can give someone 3 pieces of advice, but you cannot give them 3 advices. That's not possible. Okay, another possible structure for giving advice with modals and verbs. Maybe you could go to a chat room on the internet. All right, much more polite, not as strong. Okay, again, we're using the modal could, which just means, oh, well, it's a possibility. I'm not strongly pushing you to do this, but maybe it's like doubly, maybe even. Okay, this is sort of a weaker kind of way to suggest something. It's not as strong. One more possible way that we could make suggestions or give advice. Why don't you join a dating service? To ask a negative question. Often using don't or possibly can't. Okay. Why can't you try swimming lessons to try to lose weight? Why don't you stop eating so much ice cream? Why don't you stop picking your nose? Okay. All right, so there's several ways here that we've been looking at to possibly give suggestions. It's not just should. although should is the classic way to give advice or make suggestions. You should do something. It's very direct, but there are other ways. All of these other ways that I'm kind of sharing with you here, with gerunds, with infinitives, with sort of softer modals, you might want to stop picking your nose. It is much more, it's much weaker. It's not as strong. It's okay. It's not a strong advice. Should is somewhere in the middle, and then of course finally we have must. You must do this. You need to do this. I want to add, when we talk about must in particular, sometimes we use must as a suggestion, and it's not as strong. What do I mean by that? You must try the horseradish and salmon canapes. They are delicious. Okay, I'm making a suggestion, but it's a very polite suggestion. You must come stay at my house next weekend. We would be delighted to have you. Okay, that is actually an invitation. It's a suggestion or it's advice, but it's really an invitation. So we can use must in not so strong a way, but it's more like an invitation than a suggestion. And even though we're using this strong modal verb must, okay, it's actually considered to be very polite. Really, darling, you must come by the chateau one afternoon for tea. Okay. So that is really an invitation. You must try another scone. They're delicious. Okay. Now, on the other hand, giving other kinds of advice, which I would like to do if I can have some students join me, and you can practice giving me advice for my many, 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 many problems. Okay. It would be much easier to teach this if we could do it interactively. So come on in and join me. Don't be shy. Any English speaking level is welcome to join me. And I think you could learn a lot more by interacting with me, and you could practice giving me advice or possibly requesting advice. How do we request advice? All right. Well, while I'm so patiently waiting for someone to join me so I can continue the class, how do we request advice? Well, you can simply just ask for advice. Can you give me advice about how to stop picking my nose? Or, okay, another way to request advice is to state your problem and say, well, what should I do? Here's my problem. I keep getting passed over for promotion. My company keeps cutting my hours. What should I do? Okay. I can make my statement and then say, what should I do? I can start requesting advice by saying, what should I do? My company keeps cutting my hours, and it's really stressing me out. I don't know what to do. It's also very common. I don't know what to do. We also we also sometimes indirectly ask for advice. It's obvious, but it's not so direct. For example, we might say, "Oh, I'm at wit's end," and and then discuss the problem. I'm at wit's end. My wife keeps spending all my money with her credit card. She's driving me crazy. Now, I didn't say, what should I do? I didn't say, can you give me advice? But it's fairly obvious from what I'm saying that I'm needing some help here. Okay. Okay. To ask for advice, usually we're fairly direct in English when we're asking for advice, really. You can be indirect in asking them like an indirect question. All right. I was wondering if you could tell me. Well, basically with strangers, if we need advice from strangers, we're not going to be so direct. Can you give me advice? What should I do? That's quite direct. Anytime in English that we're speaking to strangers, we're going to probably use more polite, more formal, and more indirect language. For example, if I see a stranger on the corner and I need advice, as in directions, how to get somewhere, I might say, I was wondering if you could tell me how to get to the library. All right. Would it be possible for you to tell me how to get to the supervisor's office? All right. When you're talking to strangers, in the same way, when we give advice, if it's a stranger, someone you don't know well, or any person you would be more formal with, you're going to give more indirect advice. So, for example, when you walk into a shoe store, of course, the clerk will very commonly, can I help you? Is there anything I can help you find? When they give you advice, okay, you might want to try on the purple dress over here. I think that would match your skin tone or your hair. Okay, you might want to, is very common to hear in a sales. You could, to give another possibility, is actually often heard for in sales. You could try another brand. You could try the next shoe size up because you've got big feet. So it's very common to give ask questions, request advice, or give advice in a more indirect, polite way for strangers or for customers, or any time when you would be more formal, really. However, of course, with our friends, we tend to be more direct. Our friends and family, obviously. Okay. Viewers out there in Verbling, I need some help. Can you give me some advice? I need you to join me and practice your English by helping me out here. So I need advice. I need to lose weight. Can you give me advice? I'm starting to put on a little weight in the stomach, particularly. How can I get rid of little, shall I say, a little extra pounds around my waist and my stomach? Can you give me advice? All right. Please join me and we can talk about how we can practice, not talk about, we can practice, we can have a little fun practicing, well, practicing giving me advice for my long list of problems that I have here ready to talk to you about. If I just arrived in your country, what should I do? Okay. What advice would you give me if I landed in your country? I just arrived. I'm fresh off the plane. What advice could you give me? Actually, you know what advice I need? Really? How can I get you guys to join my class? That's what advice I need. What do I need to do to get you to join the class? What do I need to do? Okay, there's another way to request advice. How can I convince you to join the class? Because really, this is the advice I obviously need. Okay, I've pretty much talked about everything I can other than letting you practice and giving you feedback. All right, that's what I would like to do with students. Give you feedback and help you out with your sentence structure and or vocabulary so that you can learn English. You can't really learn English by watching me and just watch a video. It's a good idea to practice. So I do advise students to actually practice English. It's a good idea. If you don't, you're really never going to learn it. Okay, Leonardo, thank you for your support. I appreciate it. Thank you very much. Okay. Well, all right. Okay. All right. Let's see here. Okay, for those of you joining late, it would be great to interact with you and let you practice English. But since I don't have any takers, all right, I will just lecture some more. How boring for you. Okay, all righty then. Here we go. Suggestions and advice. We use should to make suggestions and give advice. You should send an email. We should go by train. we use could to make suggestions because could means one of many possibilities. For example, we could meet at the weekend. You could eat out tonight. It's just one of many possibilities, so it's more of a suggestion than advice. We can also use conditionals to give advice. For example, Dan will help you if you ask him. Okay, notice this is a conditional sentence. We have the if clause. Okay, this is a real conditional. First conditional. The if clause includes a present tense verb if you ask him. And the result clause always has a future tense, simple future. Dan will help you if you ask him. Of course, we could also swap these clauses. If you ask him, Dan will help you. The only difference would be, if we did that, well, let's try it. The only difference would be that you would, whoops, why? You would need to have a comma. Okay. All right. It is also possible, of course, to give advice using the second conditional. For example, if you asked him, Dan would help you. Okay, the first conditional, the if clause, has present tense and then the future will. That's called the first conditional or the real condition. If you asked him has past tense and then the result clause has would. Past tenses are a little bit more polite. Dan would help you if you asked him. Hello. Hello, Max.
Hello, hello.
Hi, how are you?
I'm fine. Things doing well.
Things are doing well. Probably things are going well.
Going well, okay.
Yeah.
I doing well.
I am doing well. I am doing well. That's right. Things are going well. Yeah. Okay.
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 I see you're alone.
My what?
You are alone?
Yeah. Very.
Whoa.
Yeah. This can only go on so long.
You were. Yeah.
Yes. My time is very limited here at Verbling. As long as I keep having 0 or 1 person in the class, I won't be here at Verbling very long, honestly. Oh well. Okay. In any case, we're going to practice giving advice. All right. Well, for example, Felipe wants to know how I can get in the conversation. Well, hopefully, Felipe, if you do have to pay, but you can pay and get an unlimited number of classes here at Verbling for a very low price. All right, and then it's very simple. You just click on the join button where you see the class. Max? Okay. Did I scare you off? Oh my goodness. Oh, you're back. Great. All right, Max, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. I just tried to refresh because I
Okay.
I can see verb in chat.
All right. Okay. We're going to practice giving advice. Okay. So Max, I need to save money at the supermarket. What can I do? How can I save money at the supermarket? Actually, that's true, Max. I've been consistently every week, more and more and more. I know inflation is part of it, but how can I save money at the supermarket?
I don't know.
You don't have no suggestions at all.
It's question for
Well, go
not
get your
for me.
wife. Go get your
Yeah,
wife,
maybe.
Max. Let's have her on the class. Let's go. Okay. Okay.
You need to find substitute more cheaper.
Okay.
Maybe.
Like what? Eating paper?
Like what? Yeah. You need to buy a 3D printer.
3D printer
And,
for food?
yeah.
Okay. All right. Actually, there's something of value here. Not very good advice. But when I'm I'm asking for advice, and I would like I would like Max here to give me more advice. Notice that I said, well, like what? Can you give me an example? Okay, tell me more.
Such as
Be very common way to ask for more advice. Okay. No ideas, huh? Okay. All right. All right. How about this one, Max? I need to lose weight. It's weird, Max. I'm getting old. I only get fat around my stomach. How can I lose weight around my stomach?
you need to stop getting giving
Stop getting fat.
stop giving stop giving classes in the Verbank because it work. It
No
work.
danger.
How to name?
Yeah. Okay. In English, it's sedentary work. Sedentary means sitting. This is a great adjective. Actually, many native speakers don't know it, but sedentary means just something that involves sitting, a lot of sitting.
Yeah. I think there is a problem. Therein lies a problem.
Therein lies the problem. Ooh, nice construction. Okay. One thing, okay, the way you gave advice is actually very strong. You need to. And that's okay. You can do that. That's a way to give advice. But you must, you have to, you need to are very, very strong. And that's more strong than should.
Yeah.
And much more strong than could. Could is more like a suggestion, and then should is stronger, and must, of course, is stronger still.
I suggest you need. I again need. I suggest you could. To move more. Moving more.
Just moving more. Okay. You might want to. There's another way to say it with a modal of lesser degree. You might want to move around a bit more. Perhaps. Now I'm going to try. Okay. Giving advice here in English. Okay, I might continue the conversation by making a suggestion and seeing how Max would react to that. So perhaps, Max, I should get one of those vibrating chairs. I I could teach verbaling class while it's shaking my stomach. Hello, verbaling students. How are you doing today? That might work. Right? Hey, at this point, I'll try anything. Okay, there's a way to say in English that you're really desperate for advice. At this point, I'll try anything. This is very common phrasing in English to mean that you're quite desperate for advice.
At this point, I.
Yeah, I'll write it down for you here.
But I can see.
You can see what?
Birmingham.
Oh, I'll write it down for other people then. Okay. At this point, I'll try anything. Yeah. Why? Because I'm at the end of my rope.
At the end of my rope?
Yeah.
What do you mean?
I've tried everything before.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I tried all tricks of the books. Of the book.
All the tricks in the book. In the book.
All the tricks in the book, yeah.
Or actually, we usually say, I've tried every trick in the book.
I tried every trick in the book.
Okay, this is good. Okay, these are ways of asking for advice when we're frustrated, when we've tried everything we know. I've tried every trick in the book. Yeah, that's a good one. Thank you, Max. And I've tried every trick in the book. Yeah. Help me. I need advice. Okay. Very good. Okay. Let me try something else. All right. Okay. Max, where's the nearest airport to where you live? How far away is it?
This is advice?
No. Yeah, I'm asking it. Question. Getting ready.
It's about 500 kilometers.
Oh my God.
From
Well, I was going to say I've just landed at the airport, 500 kilometers from your house.
Yeah, but sometimes I pick up some my friend. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. That's pretty far. Wow. Okay.
For Russian, it's not far.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. I've just arrived at the airport. What should I do? Hi, surprise, Max. I just arrived at the airport. What should I do now? Should I get a taxi to your house?
Yeah, I think it's possible, but it would be cost an arm and a leg for you.
Yes, it would. Okay. My gosh. What should I do? Help me.
Yeah. Just wait.
Just wait.
I'm on my way.
Sure.
I think it'll take me 5 or 6 hours, and I'll pick you up.
5 or 6 hours? Oh my God.
Yeah.
What will I do for 5 or 6 hours? What should I do for 5? Oh, there's some more. What should I do for 5 or 6 hours stuck at the airport?
What should I just learn Russian on the airport?
Okay. Do Russian airports have a lot of entertainment? Would there be bars or TV sets I could watch, or is there anything to do at the airport?
I think it's different. It depends on the airport. We have some kind of small airport and international, more biggest.
Right.
And, yeah, and I think in the only 1 second I said that and forget again. International. International airport. I think you would you will find what to do, or no, you will find what to do to kill your time.
Well, you can find something to
You
do.
can find. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, to
Can
kill
find
time,
something.
and that's accurate. You kill time, you're just wasting time, trying to make time go by. You kill time in English. Okay. Also, Max, be careful. More biggest. Just you're combining comparative with superlative, and you shouldn't even say more bigger. Just bigger airports, bigger international airports.
Or just the biggest. No. Okay, I got it.
Yeah, I actually like spending time in the airport. It's just so expensive. Everything is like triple price.
Yeah.
Yeah. Actually, it's very funny because I come from the countryside where I grew up, but we have an airport not more like 50 kilometers away instead of. But anyway, it's still fairly small. But it's funny, the airport bar and lounge is like a regular business. I mean, regular local people go there to have dinner. Actually, they have a pretty good reputation for their food. So people go there to eat dinner and just hang out, and sometimes they have bands. It's funny. So if you get stuck at that airport, it's a great airport to get stuck at. Anyway.
7 years ago, I worked in different company so far from my house, and every month I needed to fly, and yeah, twice on a month I fly.
Flew.
Fly. Yeah, yeah, flew.
Fly, flew.
Fly,
flown. Fly, flew, flown.
But,
yeah.
Fly, flew, flown. But it was a small airport in the city Tomsk. I don't know, maybe you know.
I've heard of it. Yeah.
It's I couldn't find anything to do. It's a boring place, actually.
Yeah.
I think everyone who live in the Tomsk and go to will be agree with me.
Okay. Well, okay. Let's try another one. I'm going to have you give me more advice. Okay, Max, my toilet is stopped up. Can you give me advice?
If I were you.
Oh, that's good. All right. Okay.
If I were you. If I completely understand, what do you say? What did you say?
Yeah.
What you said.
What did you say? My toilet is stopped up. Okay.
You can't use it anymore. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's right. It's plugged. Okay.
Okay.
So I know this is a very strange phrasal verb. Actually, that's why I wanted to say it. Stopped up, or plugged. Usually, a small pipe for water. It's plugged. No more water can go through it. But I don't know why. But with a toilet, we often use this phrasal verb is really only used for toilets. It's really weird, actually. Stopped up.
Stopped up. We use this sink. Yes, sink stopped up.
We can use. I guess we can use it for a sink. The sink is stopped up, or the sink is plugged.
Okay.
Yeah.
If I were you, I need to toilet. I would go to my neighbors. Yeah. I don't know. They just need Jack reaction. Yeah. Maybe they say me something like, "Go away, Max. Step away, please." I don't know.
I used to have a friend back when I lived in the United States before I moved here to the Philippines. I had a friend, I swear, he would come to my house and go immediately to the bathroom. What? Why do you love my bathroom? What is your problem? I mean, go to the bathroom and spend like 20 minutes. So he's doing his business in there. He's not just taking a pee. He's doing other things. But why? Stop by my house every other day to use the bathroom. Strange. Anyway. Okay, well, I go to the neighbors, but eventually I'm going to need my toilet. So what should I do?
You need to phone service.
To fix it.
Or maybe to fix it yourself. I don't know.
Well, I can't afford a service or a plumber. A plumber is the guy who fixes pipes.
Yeah, okay. I recently heard something like it's very rural profession in the UK, and nobody want to learn to work plumber, and they need to pay very, very high salary for this guy.
Yeah. Plumber. Don't pronounce the B.
Plumber.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's true. In the United States, they're very expensive. $50, $60 an hour.
Yeah.
$60 an hour. Yeah. Crazy. Even worse, those guys who pump out the sewer, the septic tank, where all your sewer is. Horrible job.
Odor.
Yeah, the odor is tremendously bad. Yeah, but those guys get paid a lot. But they deserve it, in my opinion. They absolutely deserve it. I could not do that job. It doesn't matter. I couldn't do it. $1,000 an hour, I wouldn't do it. Okay. Okay, let's say I can't afford a plumber because they're so expensive, as we just discussed.
Okay.
All right.
You have only one choice. You need to. I don't know. In Russian, we have some kind of steel.
It's really long.
Yes, steel.
Yes. Okay.
And you need some kind of jacket and.
Excuse me.
I don't know how to display it.
Okay, it's like a long, I don't know if it's the same thing, but we have a device. It's on a coil. It's like a long piece of metal, and it maybe even has a spiral, a turning thing. So you release it. It's very strange. It's called a snake. I think a snake. You need a snake.
I love it. Snake. It's easy to remember.
Yeah,
in Russian I don't remember how we name.
Mm-hmm. I don't remember what it's called. Yeah.
What it's called?
Yeah, in English it's a snake. Yeah. It's actually happened to me twice. My father-in-law, luckily, he has a snake. It's a nasty job. Really, but yeah. Or you can try chemicals.
Oh yeah, okay. It's more popular nowadays, but not effective, I think.
Yeah, not rarely effective, I would say. Sometimes, once in a while, it works, but Not usually.
I
Okay.
tried to find its name, how it's named in Russian.
Right. Okay, and there's another way to give advice, since that's the theme of the class. Or you can try, and often when we give a second piece of advice or an alternate suggestion, we very commonly in English phrase it that way. Or you can try whatever. You can try a snake, or you can try chemicals. Okay. Let's try another one. Max, I want to buy a car, and I don't
think
know
in
where
Russian
to start.
we
Yeah,
name it
go ahead.
some kind of, I don't know, plum line, plum rope, just like compound
Interesting.
noun. Yeah, I don't
Uh-huh.
know.
Which is which is interesting, because a plumb line is a different kind of tool in English.
Yeah, I know. I think for the connect to device and Germet.
No.
No.
No, actually, because the word plumb actually means perfectly straight or perfectly even. It's plumb. So builders use it. They have to make sure everything is exactly, 90-degree angle. Have to make sure that the wall goes at a perfect 45-degree angle. So they have to make sure the line is plumb. They actually have, it's interesting, maybe you have this, maybe not, but it's a string, but the string is covered with like purple chalk or something, chalk dust. So what they do is they put the string on one end and they unreel it. It's from a little device, like a tape measure, kind of, and
Yeah, I got it.
stretch it out perfectly straight, and then they just pull it up and go, boom, and it makes this
Yeah,
perfectly straight purple line. That's
yeah,
called
I
a
have.
plumb line. Yeah. So yeah, different thing. Okay.
Yeah.
I should have a class about weird tools. Actually, that's a great idea. Not a bad idea. Weird tools, because there's so many strange tools that I know nobody knows the name of. But I guess it would be a guy's class. Okay. Well, pretty much. That was kind of sexist of me. Sorry, ladies.
But
I know ladies tools.
but you again say guys class, but you told me guys you mean and women and men
Yeah.
guys.
Well, it can. Okay. It can mean women and men. Come on, guys, let's go to the casino. I could be talking to a group of women and men. But when I used it in the way I used it here, I'm definitely referring to men. So it can be referring to just men. Okay. In bathrooms, it would be very common in an American restaurant or bar to see two bathrooms, guys, gals. They often do that for men in men's room, women's room. Guys, gals, guys, dolls, whatever. Dudes, dudettes. Hey, dudes. Dudes is the same way. It can be just a group of people, or it can be specifically males. Okay, Max, do you need any advice? Would you like to ask me for advice?
Yeah.
Practice asking for advice? Okay.
How I can improve my English?
Okay, first of all, how can I improve my English?
How can I? Yeah.
Okay. Well, there's another.
Yeah,
There's
I need
another.
I To ask question is really problem.
I'm looking at. I have my Max notes. Hang on.
Max knows.
Notes for Max. Yeah, you're developing your own folder, Max. I hope you know. Questions, yes. Okay. You must have missed that series. I did like 2 or 3 class series on on questions, how to form questions. Yeah. All right. So yeah, we can work on that. How can you improve your English? Well, keep going
Don't
to
think
class.
about
You're
it.
doing it.
Yeah, don't think about it. Yeah, just work.
Just do it. Just do it.
Yeah.
It's the easiest way. Yeah, the biggest hurdle that happens, which I think most people who are around the intermediate level, lower, upper, whatever, let's just call it intermediate, they get to a point where they seem to get stuck, and often the point where they get stuck is the point in learning English where you have to think in English, where your response is automatic in English without
No, I think
translating.
I don't translate from my language.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, I
Yeah,
mostly.
sometimes yes, I thought
Okay.
in Russian. I don't know. Sometimes happen, but not rarely.
Okay. Well, that's good. Oh, that's very good. Well, that helps a lot. But anyway, okay, just making an observation that I did say most people, not necessarily you, but many people get stuck there. But basically, how do you improve your English practice?
One times, yeah, one times happened with me some kind of story. I I was on my work at my workplace, and I listened some, I don't know, video, and when this video end, and after 10 minutes, and I don't know, I ask yourself, in which language I listened that, and I didn't have answer in my mind in which lesson, in which language I heard it. Yeah, it's
Okay. I know. I actually know exactly what you're saying. I have actually experienced that as well. I know exactly what you're saying because I definitely know what you're saying because the country where I live, even when I watch Philippine television programs, Filipinos they speak half Tagalog, half English. So actually, they're going back and forth. Tagalog, English. Even in the middle of a sentence, they switch from Tagalog to English or back and forth. So, okay, I understood it perfectly, but what language was it? I'm not sure. One, the other, both? That actually happens to me frequently.
Yeah, I just got it. I don't know
It's weird.
on which language. Yeah.
So I know what you mean. That is very strange, by the way, when you hear 2 languages in the same spoken, literally mixed up. English word, first language, second language, first language, second language, mixed up even in sentences. It's a strange thing because I don't know, it does weird things to your brain because you're you're trying to conceive of both languages simultaneously, and you're exactly as you say, you don't know, you understand it, but you don't know how. It's interesting. Okay, Max, thank you very much. I really appreciate stopping by to help me. I was really at the end of my rope trying to talk about practice giving advice by myself. It's like giving yourself advice doesn't really work with one person. So thanks a lot.
Let's go to the next lesson.
Let's go to the next lesson. Bye for now.